Peter, and he knows what's required in a situation like this. He knows his opponent very well too. He knows anything loose and Martin will go after it. That one was one that I think just coming back. It hit outside the off stump and probably too hard on the umpire then to see what it was going to do.
Didn't read it, Damien Martin. This is the attempted wrong un, but it's actually just gone straight on, and he's got just outside the line. If that had spun back, then umpire Weeks would have had a much harder decision. Unfortunately, just the top spinner, it's bounced and just gone straight on, so it would have missed the stumps, but I'm not sure that Martin picked it.
I don't think he did, Barry. In fact, I think he probably deceived us a little bit, because when I was watching it, I thought, that's a wrong un. And then when you see the replay, and it didn't turn all that much, it just got caught up in the fingers there, and that may have confused Damien Martin also, but a very good over. 35 off 43 now for Damien Martin, so they're just trying to dry him up a little, make it hard for him, but this is the man they'd like to see get a wicket. Hasn't picked one up as yet. Driven straight down the ground. One. Lehman's giving chase, but at least three, and this just lumbering after it. And they come back for the third. So that gets him off the mark.
Yes, he'd be pretty happy with that, because he's down the other end now, and Damien Martin can perhaps face the last 5 balls before lunch. Not quite in the right line for Mark Harrity. Gave Robbie Baker the opportunity to get on the front foot, half volley, and push it straight down the ground.
Behind point, guided that one. That was a good delivery. He's up on the toes and just nonchalantly kept it down and played very well. Pick up a couple of runs. Someone's alarm's gone off. Barry out the back there. Hope it's not James Brayshaw's Mercedes-Benz.
That's well played. Backed his eye. He's not really behind the delivery, but he's got lovely hands. Damien Martin just guarded it and kept it down.
Down the leg side. Nice shot. Straying in accuracy then. And Martin putting it away, and another long chase for old Paul Wilson. He's done a lot of work out in that outfield. He's a solitary man in front of the wicket on the leg side, and I think really he needs more protecting than that.
Wrong line. So hard to bowl to a 7-2 field. If you just stray down there and it's not swinging, and that one didn't swing as much as the others, to a player of Martin's class, that's just going to be picked off. There's such a big gap there. This hasn't been his best over from Mark Harrity.
And he finishes off with a good one. Unfortunately, another little fumble by the wicketkeeper. He hasn't had a good game, has he?
The trouble with this tactic is that if Western Australia want to leave the ball, it really doesn't put them under a lot of threat. If you're attempting to score, this is a very good tactic, but when you've got wickets in hand and time is not a factor, it's very hard to see how you're going to get wickets unless the players really want to get after you.
Bye.
109 runs have been scored by the Warriors in this session, which is a terrific rate. Really, when you look at the way the game was poised overnight. 0 for 29. Lost 3 wickets. It doesn't matter. They've kept that run rate going. It's been a very good session for them. Well left, a late decision. Decision to go off to lunch. There's no doubt about that. The luncheon break comes up for all the players. So overnight, Western Australia resuming at none for 29. At that stage, they needed 162 runs for victory, and the game was really in the balance. Since then, they've taken it up to 3 for 138. Good consistent scoreboard there, 27 to Hussey, likewise to Campbell, 31 to Katic, and Damien Martin. Nice little cameo innings, 40 off 45 deliveries. And Peter McIntyre, 1 wicket alongside of his name for 27, but the bowler of the morning, certainly that Paul Wilson. Terrific effort from him, 15 overs, 2 for 25, led 12 of those overs today and picked up a couple of wickets. So good effort there from Paul Wilson there. Terrific effort from him. And Western Warriors needing 53 runs for victory, and we'll be back at the Adelaide Oval in just over half an hour.
Players making their way back onto the field to start the middle session, the final day of this Pure Milk Cup match. Going to have a look at the wickets to fall this morning. The first one, Ryan Campbell, LBW, off the bowling of Paul Wilson.
We'd had a close call just before this one, just a touch wider. This time Wilson fired it in a lot closer, beaten all ends up there. As a matter of fact, he didn't even hang around for the umpire's decision. Not much doubt in that one there, and off he goes. The umpire hasn't even got his finger up. He just has a look back to check. No need to do that. Then, of course, the next wicket, Hussey got a beautiful delivery, an out-way swinger there from the big fella Paul Wilson again. And a regulation catch through to the keeper there, Manu.
Yes, nice piece of bowling there from Paul Wilson. It's been a good effort from him. Not a lot wrong from the shot of Mike Hussey. Just a good piece of bowling. See there, perfect position to play the ball. Just left him. And now we get Simon Katic. Sweep shot, back of the bat. And Brad Young takes a nice catch. Simon Katic never really looked comfortable. Hit a couple of good sixes, but outside of that, didn't get his innings going in any real way forward. There's Brad Young taking the catch pretty comfortably. Got a good pair of hands and good reward for Peter McIntyre.
Yeah, McIntyre around the wicket there. He struck it pretty well. A little bit unfortunate there. Just carried. I probably, the South Australians, if they heard me saying a little bit unfortunate, they haven't had too much luck this morning. They would be thinking they were the ones that are unfortunate, but just carried. Good catch there from Young. So that was the story at lunch. 3 for 138.
Play, gentlemen.
7 wickets in hand and 53 runs to win. 7 wickets to win for South Australia and only 53 to play with.
Damien Martin already showing that he's ready to rumble.
Come on, Mac. Got one up here. Little snitch. Oh, Mac.
Piece of bowling there from Peter McIntyre. 2 wickets for him in the first innings. Already 1 for there, 1 for 27 from his 6.2 overs. One more wicket in this game basically achieves what his goal should be. 4 wickets a game for a leg spinner means you're up around the 40 wickets a season mark, which is a good performance.
Yes, he's bowled pretty steady in this match, Macca. He's done a fair job. Bowled fairly accurately. Got some good wickets too as well. Just doing a bit of heavy duty work on the ball there by the look of it.
That's high up in the air, and this should be out. Getting underneath it there is Mark Harrity, and that's a well-taken catch. Peter McIntyre's on his way.
Well, I don't know if Harrity juggled that one. Well, Damien Martin, McIntyre has got him again. He got him in the first dig too. Got him with the top spinner bowled in the first dig. This time he's tried to, I think, put him over the Victor Richardson gates. Only got about 1/3 of the way. So that's a very good wicket for South Australia. You just get the feeling, but they're running out of runs here at the moment. Martin out for 40, just from 50 deliveries. That's the 4th wicket down for 138. This is how it happened.
Hitting against the spin, and that was the problem. You can see the ball spinning away to the offside. And now Mark Harrity, it's the second sky ball he's had to catch in this match, and he's held on to both of them and done a good job. So Peter McIntyre, we mentioned 1 wicket in the game, in the innings so far, 3 in the game. Now he's got 4 for the match, and that is a well-held catch. Good technique there. He hugged it in, wasn't going to let it go.
Well, he's definitely been doing work on his catching, hasn't he, Mark Harrity? He's not one of the, well, he wasn't last year, not, well, in previous season too, one of the safest pair of hands around, but he's got 2 from 2 so far in this match. And that was a pretty handy wicket, that, for the Redbacks. Michael Dighton, the new man in. And he got 6 in the first inning, so a little bit of pressure on him too as well. But obviously they've changed ends with that skied ball, so he won't be on strike. It'll be Baker on strike. He's on 3.
Exactly the start to the session the Redbacks needed. Damien Martin was always going to be the key to this innings. Now he's gone. The youngster's going to have to pick up the pieces. Hogg, Julian, Angel, Williams and Oldroyd to come. You don't want to lose 2 wickets in pursuit of these runs. The Western Warriors, end of the Peter McIntyre over, a maiden. 53 runs required, and they have 6 wickets in hand.
Yeah, it's 2 quick wickets right now. It'd put a little bit of pressure up there, wouldn't it? It's might be something they really deserve, maybe, South Australia. Who knows? They haven't had much luck throughout. We've said before, you make your own luck, but you know, it's still not beyond 50 runs. It does make it a bit of a hard ask, but it's never over till it's over.
Well, there is the equation. 53 runs to win from more than enough overs. 6 wickets in hand.
Well, those clouds lifting too, get a bit brighter out here. The sunshine's beginning to appear more often. Brad Young just marking out his run-up, taking off his hat and glasses. He's gone wicketless so far, none for 49. Really need him to. It'd be nice for him to pick up a quick couple of wickets from the South Australian point of view.
4 wickets in the first innings. Held well in that innings too. But this is where they need him. He needs to get online quickly and start ripping them through. These inexperienced batsmen in the middle of the Western Warriors batting order, start thinking about it a bit.
Oh, great length, Youngie.
Good test for Dighton. Shown capacity to bat really well in the first couple of games. Both of those at the Wacker, however. Made 96 here last year. Shield match. 25 it was apparently, so he's made runs at this ground before. The wicket from memory was different to this. This is a new experience for him.
Well, good spin and bounce there from Young. Just a touch too wide, but good lift from that pitch.
Attempted sweep shot there, not getting it away.
Well, a fair bit of turn on this one too, back into the midriff there, and just over that leg. Could have quite easily dragged that back on the stump after getting tangled out up in there. A little fortune.
Bottom edge on the sweep shot. Jamie Siddons in pursuit. Peter McIntyre also coming around from his position on the fence. Comfortable 3 there for Michael Dighton. Get his scoring underway.
Yeah, just off the bat then onto his leg as well. And just down very fine there. McIntyre had to run from probably a 60-degree angle, almost square around there. Long haul for him.
Into the Brad Young over. 4 for 141. 50 runs exactly required. Mention it so often, but another 50 on top of this total would have made it a very difficult chase on the final day. Not to be, however. Still like to be on the Western Warriors to get home. 6 wickets in hand. Having said that, if these Redbacks can edge a couple more out, suddenly situation changes.
Yes, that's right. Funnier things have happened. Well, 6 for 50 required. Well, 6 for 49 in actual fact. But funnier things have happened. It's not the world's worst wicket to do that on. It's not the easiest one to bat on. Really, there's plenty of spin there and different bounce. So it's not out of the equation as much as it's a long shot. Obviously, the 50 runs with 6 wickets in hand, you'd think would be a touch easier. And with a couple of quick wickets, like we keep saying, all of a sudden, those next 4 batsmen after that are beginning to shake a bit in their boots.
Well, that's all you can do, isn't it, as a fielding side? Just keep putting pressure on, keep trying to take wickets and make the WA batsmen think about it a bit. They looked as though they were cruising to victory. Suddenly some wickets start falling. Damien Martin, the experienced batsman in the side's gone.
This Mac.
He was the key.
Nice and tight.
He could have stayed out there. Batsman bat around him. Would have been very difficult for this man and his side.
No bat near that one there, just running up the leg. Good bit of scampering there from the silly mid off. Diving on that pitch. It's not too easy on the limbs. It's almost like jumping on concrete.
Serrated concrete. It can be at times too. Lose some skin, bit of bark off. Change in the field, bringing the fieldsman a deep cover in. Good thinking from Darren Lehmann. They've got to win the game. No point trying to save runs now. Need 6 wickets.
Oh, Macca. Good, mate. Lovely that, Peter.
Right on line, that one. Just outside leg coming back into middle and off.
Good, Macca.
Nicely played there by Michael Dighton. Into the over. Maiden for Peter McIntyre, so the pressure continues. Fans exiting the ground. Maybe they've given up on the cause. Certainly the players out in the middle haven't. These Redbacks think they're a sniff here. If they can get rid of one of these two. Keep putting pressure on. 50 runs to win. Runs aren't easy to come by at the moment.
Oh!
Well, plenty of oohs and ahs. Just hit that top outside edge of the bat there, pushing forward, not to the pitch of the ball. Oh, Brad Young's just got to keep this up. Just keep the pressure on. As long as they're not scoring runs, there's no damage.
Good, mate.
Down the wicket, Rob Baker can't get it past Darren Lehman. Jason Gillespie making his way into the ground. Darren Lehman would dearly love to have him on deck.
Good, Youngie.
There he is, signing autographs. And they call Dizzy on his way back from a very serious broken leg. Bowling there from Brad Young, the pressure mounting, as we say. This is all they can do, the bowling side, just try and keep it on. Odds are against them, but if they're good enough, start edging some wickets out. As Jason Gillespie makes his way up into the Redbacks rooms, checking a test score on the way through. Probably heading in for some physio. Not getting along too badly for a bloke whose leg was broken a month ago. Tomo, month and a half?
Yes, it wasn't too flash, was it? Just had a bit of misfortune in the latter few years. Bowled pretty well too when he's got on the park recently. The games I've had the pleasure of doing a few of them there, and he's bowled pretty sharply.
Oh, Mac.
So it's just such a pity, and hopefully he comes back and good as ever.
Yes, Mac.
McIntyre landing it nicely now. You can hear the encouragement from behind.
Switch it out. Hard hand. Nice and tight, Mac. Waiting. Lovely bowling.
Talked when the South Australian openers, Harris and Fitzgerald, were facing Oldroyd, at how stagnant their feet were and how they were allowing the bowler to dictate to them. This pair are doing a similar thing. Runs not flowing. Dighton and Baker both anchored to the crease at the moment.
Oh, yes. Good, Mac.
Well, this is good pressure from South Australia. Just 3 runs since lunch. One scoring shot, and this is the 5th over. This is playing right into their hands at the moment. Admittedly, there's no panic stations at all for West Australia now. At the moment, the rain has seemed to have gone, so plenty of time.
Situations tend to fester, though, don't they? If you're not keeping the scoreboard ticking over, everyone starts to get more concerned than perhaps they should. People wondering up in the dressing rooms whether it's actually harder to bat than it looks.
Oh! Yes, Mac.
4 for 141.
Monday on C7 Sport. The Noosa Triathlon, the final round of the World Cup Triathlon Series.
This one will go right to the wire.
It's the Southern Hemisphere's biggest triathlon with over 2,000 competitors. Greg Welsh and Greg Bennett will be going all out to finish in the top 3 of the series, while Michaeli Jones and Jackie Gallagher already have second and third sewn up.
A scintillating finish.
The Noosa Triathlon, 6:30 Monday on C7 Sport.
Brad Young resuming now to Rob Baker. Just 3 runs scored, as Jeff Thompson mentioned, since the lunch break. So the scoring's halted for the moment. That's better footwork, at least, coming down and meeting the ball.
Yeah, it's gone. Yes, Rick.
Vaughan picking it up and getting the throw in. Dighton home. First innings, just 3 runs for Rob Baker. Caught behind off the bowling of Paul Wilson, inside edge. So runs are important for him. He's on 4. He doesn't want to miss out again, make it a bad double. He also doesn't want to get out because he knows that if they lose a couple on a turning wicket, change of field now. Point taken away. Obviously they think they can trouble Dighton with that shot there.
They're trying to bowl him around his legs, or obviously like sweeping. Not far away from the gloves, and that one just going straight on, but he's got the 1, 2, 3, 5 on the onside to off left-hand orthodox, going away with a short boundary there. You want to get it right.
Oh!
Well, that's a better chance of bowling him around his legs when you bowl over the wicket as a left-arm orthodox. It's very difficult around the wicket to get it to straighten up that much.
Yeah, that's right. The previous delivery was around, and this is much better chance over into those foot marks.
Good, Youngie.
They're asking for the third umpire. He sensed that Dighton had got back. Graham Manu taken the ball and broken the stumps. He didn't gather it cleanly, however, and the SA Redbacks don't look as if they're all that positive.
It seemed to have taken an eternity, didn't it? It sort of bounced, I think, a little bit awkwardly for him. Definitely defeated him in flight. This is what they're after, and that's out. And the bat is nowhere near that.
Fantastic work then from Graham Manu. Michael Dighton, he's going to get the red signal here. He's on his way. So the noose just tightening a little around the neck of these Warriors batsmen. They're starting to think about it. What looked like a comfortable run chase is now turning into hard work.
Well, bowling over the wicket certainly worked for him. The onside field, he's tried to play this one more at it rather than a sweep shot. And he's a long way down. It took forever for Manu to get that down. It just bounced awkwardly as high around his shoulders. But he didn't panic again. We saw that earlier on in this match, and got it back down and left him well short of his ground. So Dighton, exactly what he got in the first innings, 3. And he's the 5th wicket down for 142.
Amazing bit of batting from Michael Dighton. He hadn't left his crease all innings. Suddenly, as soon as Brad Young goes over the wicket, he decides to go down. Ball's drifted away from his pads. Graham Manu, despite having a little bit of trouble getting the ball into his gloves, eventually breaks the stumps, and Dighton not back. So now Brad Hogg comes to the crease. 61 from him in the first innings. His side dearly need him to make another solid contribution.
Yeah, plenty of pressure on Hogg. He did score quite well in that first dig, but thought he had a little bit of fortune. A lot more pressure on him here now, although the pressure was there too, I suppose, in the first innings to get the 2 points. But this one's for the big points. This is for the jackpot. So it's extra pressure this time round. It'll be interesting to see if he can handle it 2 times in a row. Just changing the field, bringing a sweeper. Big Paul Wilson from out in the deep into regulation cover area. That's the only man out at the moment, the man behind square. 3 around the bat, slip and silly mid off, silly mid on.
There's the ball out to that fieldsman in the deep, Jeff Vaughan. Must admit, just in the naked eye, watching that stumping Tomo, it looked like he'd got back. It took so long for Manu to gather the ball and break the stumps. But he'd overbalanced, that was his problem. He had to regain his balance before turning around to get back into his crease. By that time, the stumps had been broken, so a vital wicket's fallen. There's life in this game still. Let's have another look at it. You can see how he's overbalanced and fallen forward. That's why it's taken him so long to get back around. There you see, it's comfortably short of his ground.
Well, McIntyre going around the wicket to the left-handed Hogg. Gives him plenty of foot marks and rough there to bowl into. That one just too full down the leg side. He realise where he's got to put him. He's got to make it fairly awkward for Hogg. If he does land it right, just the right of your pitcher there. And that's right on line. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's just got to keep him there, right in the middle of those foot marks. Ooh, and that's come back a long way inside edge. You can see the amount of wear and tear there after 3.5 days.
Shot, no.
Peter McIntyre just probing away. And here the boys getting right behind him. They know that they're back in it. Cut shot down, backward a point. Vaughan's got the ball in his hand. He's going to get the throw away, and that's good fielding from Jeff Vaughan. Baker looked like he was going to come back. So good work, good hustle in the field there from that man.
Well, I think that's a bit of a mistake. I think they should have got 3 here. They hadn't picked the ball up and they were already looking for it, but they just weren't game to risk it. This is what happens when you get the pressure. They were just not game to go for a run out, and you see he would have had plenty of time there to make his ground. Throw not right up there. It's into the breeze a long way out too as well, so it's just that added pressure. All of a sudden a 3 is a 2. 48 runs still required. 5 wickets to go.
Still operating over the wicket, Brad Young. By the sounds of the fieldsman around the bat, Tomo. There's some hand grenades being bowled out there at the moment.
Well, he's gone back a long way there, didn't he, and just jammed down on in the nick of time.
Yeah, John. Work there, Gurner.
Single there for Rob Baker. Conference between captain and bowler. Plenty of that happened during the course of this match. Darren Lehman certainly full marks on the communication front.
Yes, there hasn't been any lack of chat out there, that's for certain. He's just swapping the fielders over here now. Paul Wilson going down behind square there, bringing the man across on the offside. Shortish cover, extra cover there.
What happens, the ball not bouncing as much as it should some of the time, and the rest of the time the odd one bouncing up into the gloves of Graham Manu. All of these things that the batsmen need to consider. That's not bounced as it should have. And the wicket single there. Just 9 runs since the recommencement of play. It's 5 for 147. So it's been pedestrian, and that's got something to do with the pressure from these two bowlers. Rob Baker used to pressure situations. We saw him in the final home and away Shield fixture of the year. Bat a long time with Simon Kadich to play his team into a Shield final, so he knows what it's like. Go! 5 for 147. So there's the equation. 44 runs needed to win with 5 wickets in hand. The game's still on, and to take you through next little passage anyway, Keith Stackpole and Barry Richards.
Thanks, James Brayshaw. Yes, things have certainly tightened up since the luncheon break. 3 for 138 at the break. Just 9 runs have been scored, and they've lost 2 wickets. And the spin twins in action, Young and McIntyre. In the air again. Interesting stage, Barry.
Certainly is. Damien Martin came in, he gambled. He was going to go after the spinners, really try and get some momentum going. And the first time he tried, he got out, followed closely by Dighton. He just overbalanced, trying to hit the ball away on the leg side. And now there's some pressure for the younger players and also the lower order.
So it was a bit of both there, a bit of bat and pad. Hogg just walking away from it, just trying to regain his senses there, and off the bat, and just avoided the close-in fieldsman. And just slowing it down a little bit, and upset the rhythm of McIntyre's bowling very well.
Well, it's all happening. Unbelievable. Every ball. There's cries and shouts of catch it. This one came straight off the pad. The one before didn't. I just wonder with Hogg, he likes to get down the wicket whether Harris can give himself half a yard at bat pad there.
Nicely bowled, but there's some cover out there. It's Paul Wilson that's going to have to do it. Get right around, and a bit of a fumble there, and a slip down at the striker's end there. There's 3 in it. But Hogg, who was looking to come back, slipped, and they sacrificed a run.
Yes, they would have got there comfortably, but Brad Hogg then suddenly in the pushing off, just a little fumble.
And that's behind point. Another chase here for Paul Wilson. The big fella having to do a lot of work, and he won't get that one. Beats him into the boundary. A very aggressive field placing set by Darren Lehman. Unfortunately, just a little too wide and too short, and Hogg putting it away.
Yes, good shot. Played very well in the first innings, Brad Hogg. Secured first innings points, and that one just waited enough. Sucked Paul Wilson, and he's had a chase to his left and now a chase to his right. There's a huge amount of ground for him to cover out there, and now he's getting some protection. Jeff Vaughan going to backward point. So just breaking the shackles for a minute. West Australia, they really struggled after lunch.
Slip's been dispensed with. Hogg comes straight down the ground. That's a lovely shot, that. Confident shot, and continuing on from his good first innings. And they come back for the third run. So this has been a good over for the Warriors. A little bit of luck early on in the over, but certainly the last three deliveries, Bradley Hogg playing very well.
He needed someone to take the initiative, and that's what Hogg has done. He's always prepared to go down the wicket. He's a lively character. Very quick on his feet. He rocks back, plays the cut shot well on that occasion, down the wicket, hitting the ball on the half volley. You needed somebody to take the initiative away from the bowlers. They'd really put the pressure on, dried all the runs up, and Hogg has come out, and he's attempting to take it up to the bowlers and create pressure of his own.
So will they be able to regain the momentum they had? Brad Young, 155 from his 17 overs. They gained the initiative straight after the luncheon break. The Warriors closing in. 35 runs required.
You see, now Hogg is prepared to go down the wicket, and I think that's a good policy.
Work good.
You're in.
Honestly, down the wicket, hitting with the turn. That's why he's hitting it just on the onside of the wicket, just allowing for a little bit of turn. Straight to Herity on that occasion. I think he realised how far out of his ground he'd got, Brad Hogg. That's the one. If they can bowl that line, which is just outside the off stump, he's got to play, because he's expecting it to bounce and turn back onto the stump. So he's got to play it even though it's wide, and a little bit of a gap between bat and pad. That's what he should be aiming for, Brad Young. If he bowls straighter than that, he's going to use his feet and hit him straight down the ground.
One hits right in the middle of the bat. The Redbacks haven't given it up.
On, Youngie.
Still feel as though they've got a chance. You never know in cricket what might happen. You get that one wicket, and back in the game.
Oh, yes, Youngie.
That one just a little bit straight. Anything that's straight, Hogg is able to play, and he's playing, looking to hit it straight down the ground. It's the one just wide of the off stump. He's not sure whether it's going to turn, and he has to play it, make him play on the offside.
And just nudges that one away from slip. Risky shot, but he's got away with it, and that's going to be a long chase for Jamie Siddons. 3 in it. So a bit of initiative shown there from Brad Hogg. Took the risk. It's always dangerous, Barry Richards, cutting against the spin.
Certainly is, especially with a little bit of rough there. You see, that's not all that wide. The thing he did well there is not try and hit it too hard, because it was very close to him. He's just guarded it. Not all that far away from slip, but watch how he doesn't try and hit it too hard because it's so close to him. He just runs it off the face of the bat. It's good batting.
It certainly was. And just an update to our viewers regarding the other Shield matches. There's some rain around in Melbourne and Sydney earlier on this morning, but that's cleared now. And Victoria 427 for 2 declared. Tasmania 244 in the first innings, making a real fist of it in the second innings. 267 for 5, and Daniel Marsh 134 not out. So I know someone will be happy around Australia apart from young Daniel. And New South Wales 131 and all out 176, and Queensland got the few runs required without loss. So another 6 points to the Bulls.
Of course. Now they're a good side now, especially with Casper coming back in a rough trot. Got 5 wickets, and that's good bowling. 4 in the first innings, 9 in the match.
And that's out. That was in the air. Hogg is waiting there. Thought it might have been a bump ball for a brief moment, but the South Australian lads thought it right from the moment it left the bat. There was a shout of catch it. So Peter McIntyre picks up his 3rd wicket, and this game is still alive.
Alive and kicking. Did he hit the ground here? When he went down the wicket, he might have just tapped the ground first. Yes, he has. And that's just popped up. He's hit the ground at the same time. That's why Brad Hogg is not sure exactly what has happened. But the bottom of the bat has hit the ground and just stopped the shot momentarily. And he scooped it up, and Lehman has taken the catch. So Hogg is on his way, 6 wickets down. We've got a real match on our hands.
Yes, very difficult ones, those, Barry, aren't they? And it wasn't that Hogg was disputing the decision at all. He genuinely didn't know what happened. But even in some of the minds of the South Australians, they probably think, well, you know, what was the situation with that? And you can see it just fractionally bounced in front of the bat. And Darren Lehman gleefully holds it up. So 4 wickets needed. 32 runs by the Warriors.
A good little bit of dip. That's what fooled him. It just dipped in the air, and spinners do get that little bit of dip and in swerve to a right-hander that's away from Hogg if they really put purchase on it. And you can see he's just scooped it beautifully to Lehman, who claims the catch immediately. He knows what's going on. Hogg had hit the ground. He wasn't sure.
It's a little deceptive when those catches balloon like they did. McIntyre 3 for 39. He had none for 12 off his first 2 overs, so a big comeback. Now this is the real test for him. Brendan Julian, the Warriors captain, aggressive right-hand batsman, got a big stride and likes to hit the ball, and one would think that that's the game that he'll play. He won't allow himself to be bogged down. And there's just a little bit of apprehension running between the wickets. They call for it, the replay, but I think he's made it, Barry Richards.
Well, he went straight away. It's a very good pick up and throw. He didn't try and throw it too hard. He just picked it up, and on the momentum, he got it back to the keeper. But invariably, if the keeper's got to take it and then get his hands to the bails, the batsman gets in. This is going to be awfully close. He's... Whoa. Over to you, Stacky. Over to you. I think he's probably just been caught short of the ground. Can you tell whether that... Well, I think the benefit of the doubt has got to go to the batsman here, but you wouldn't want it any closer than this.
Oh, there's just a centimetre or so in it either way. This is a real tough one. Beautiful piece of fielding. And what held up the batsman there, it's that soft turf there. He would have made that ground quite easily if that had been the hard stuff. But his bat got caught up in it just a little and probably just held him back a little. A brilliant piece of work. Manu gets the gloves off it, and that's going to be a tough one. What's it going to be, the red or the green? And it's the red. So a wicket for South Australia. Took the third umpire. Umpire wisdom, a long time to make up the mind. Had to be totally convinced at seeing it. And the decision going against Baker on that occasion. And you could see from the apprehension, Brendan Julian just nudged it away, Barry. There's just a, well, will we go, won't we? Suddenly he went, and just a centimetre out.
And that's what the pressure does for you. They need to get the momentum and some runs under their belt. It wasn't happening after lunch, and the Redbacks have come right back into this game. Correct shot. It's just come off a thickish outside edge for Brendan Julian. He wasn't sure straight away. It's gone to the left, but that's a very good piece of fielding. He's run round it straight away, hasn't tried to throw it too hard, all in the one movement. I thought because the keeper had to take it, there was an element of doubt in that. Well, I suppose he's given him, because the bat is on the line as the bails start to move. That is a tough call. Probably the correct one. He's just short there. Hard to tell whether the bails have been removed. It's not all plain sailing when you're the third umpire.
Oh, but you could see the dust coming up from that bat there, and that's what probably just cost him his wicket. Striving for the crease with the bat in his hand, reaching for that line, and just got held up a little in that soft turf, and that cost him his wicket. So what a terrific game we've got on our hands now. Full credit to the Redbacks. They've clawed their way back into it. A couple of times it looked as though it was going to slip from their grasp, and suddenly they're right back in it.
And just going back to our interview this morning, James Brayshaw with Brad Williams saying perhaps he could have his feet up, and he was hoping that have a nice day in the pavilion. Well, he'll be padded up and he'll be nervous.
32 runs by the Warriors, 3 wickets in hand, and it's come back to more an equal type situation. There's no doubt about that. And Joe goes for the big one, and they go up again, and the umpire rules that he's out. So 2 in 2 balls. So Peter McIntyre, what a tremendous spell of bowling this has been. None for 26 at one stage, and now he's got 4 for 39.
Now this is just pressure. The pressure's got to them. Very difficult shot to come in and play a cross-batted shot. First up, Joe Angel has opted to go that way, and he's played the penalty, so we've got a hat-trick potential here. 2 wickets in 2 deliveries. One is a run out, and what an hour or two can make. These two really down in the dumps now. They're back in the game, the Redbacks. There's a huge cry, and it's just come off the back of the bat, and umpire Weeks immediately up goes the finger. Dangerous shot to play.
Well, what an amazing game. 3 wickets and 3 balls. Hogg out, a run out of Baker, and now that of Joe Angel. And the man comes out to the wicket who virtually got the Warriors the first innings points when he slogged 28. There were 6 boundaries in that, and I don't think there'll be any holding back with Brad Williams. That's the only way he knows how to play. But look at those figures from Peter McIntyre. 4 for 39. Brad Williams looking confident, Barry, but the heart would be pumping.
He's on a Clayton's hat-trick, of course. One was a run out, and we got a dismissal of the next delivery, so it could potentially be 3 wickets and 3 balls, although not quite the hat-trick. There is some pressure here.
And there's pressure on Darren Lehmann. What sort of field setting do I put in for this fellow? He's gone with 2 men out on the onside. I think what Brad Williams does, he gives himself a little bit of room to hit through the offside. I think he's more an offside hitter than an onside. Anyhow, it's McIntyre to him. Oh, went for the drive, wasn't there. Whew, bit of luck.
Nice drift in too. That's what the leg spinner is trying to do. Drift it into the right-hander, then spin it away. That's exactly what happened. Very lucky not to hit the leading edge.
And that's in the air, but it's safe. This is the game he only knows how to play. There'll be at least 2 in this, and they settle for 2. And the end of a very good over. Terrific over for the Redbacks. 3 wickets falling in it.
The game's on. We've got 2 players at the crease who love to hit the ball. In fact, they probably don't know any other way. Particularly Brad Williams. He's going to go for it, but he does hit over the offside, Stacky. You're quite right, and that presents a problem for Lehmann. He's got to get his fielders in the right place, and not only has he got to get his fielders in the right place, he's got to get the right fielders in the right place, and that'll be a challenge for him. Brad Hogg is the man out, caught by Lehmann. Then there was a run out, and Joe Angel. So 1 wicket, 2 wickets, 3 wickets, all in the 1 over.
And all falling on 159. So runs difficult to come by in the second innings for both teams. Yesterday the Redbacks scrounged 195. It didn't look to be enough. It certainly made a tight tussle of it.
especially when they raced to none for 29 overnight. They took that on to 45 before the first wicket fell. In fact, Western Australia were 1 for 82. They're now 8 for 161.
The Warriors captain, Brendan Julian, a good striker of the ball. He's on strike. 3 men crowded around him. Goes for the drive, straight to Lehman. Only one thing for Julian to do, and that's to play his natural game.
Trouble is, he's got the added responsibility as captain, and if you go for your shots and get out, it doesn't look good.
Well, whatever you do, Barry, and you get out, it doesn't look good in a situation like this. A terrific game of cricket. Pressure on the umpires too, and even on the third umpire. Tough decision. Umpire wisdom. Nearly yorked himself. Chips it down to Mark Harrity. There's no doubt the Redbacks have lifted.
There's a spring in the step, all right. Fielders are right on the ball. Bit of body language before lunch suggested that they thought it might be all over. That's all changed.
It's in the air. Straight out to the fieldsman. Creeping up now. This is the problem posed for Darren Lehman now, with Young going to be bowling to Williams.
Yes, blocker, don't put your hands in your pockets. You've got every chance of getting another one. I'm not sure he's the right man out there, because that's where he likes to hit. He might get some extra cover. And there we go. He read it well. He's the man who's going to be singled out. Blocker's going on the other side where it's less likely to go for Brad Williams. He likes to give himself a little bit of room. Hits over the top. He's got the short boundary to work with. Lots of discussion going on here.
What do you reckon Brendan Julian said to him?
I don't know. Whatever he said, I'm not sure he'd be listening, because he can only play one way, so it's pointless talking to Brad Williams. He's going to play his shots, and that's the correct way. If he tries to block, he's going to get out. So 2 or 3 fours here, and that changes it again.
Well, one might even change it, Barry, at the moment. Things are tense, there's no doubt about that. Plays inside it, just missed the outside edge of the bat. Had the foot grounded. It's got a long reach.
Oh, they're all excited. The anticipation on every delivery is amazing for everybody.
Good hack.
Single there, but they didn't take it. Harrity in fairly quickly, 8 for 162.
HSBC, your world of financial services.
29 runs to win. The Warriors, 2 wickets to be gained by South Australia. And what a battle for the 6 points. They do anything to get the 6 points, Barry Richards.
Yeah, somebody's going to be disappointed. It's been a very, very good game of cricket. It's been nip and tuck all the way. Hardly anything in it. There's still nothing in it. 4 for 41 for Peter McIntyre. He's really on a roll. He was none for 26 after 4 overs, so what a comeback for him.
And plenty of time being used up, just getting the field right, and that's understandable in a situation like this.
There goes Blocker again. He's doing more running in the changing of the positions than he's doing when he's fielding. I'm trying to get him away from the natural way that the ball will be spinning. It'll be spinning away from the right-handers, and the natural tendency for both Brendan Julian and Brad Williams is to hit with the spin. That's why they want the slower fielders on the other side of the wicket.
Tentative coming forward. Yes, that last wicket, we've just been informed, Joe Angel, was Peter McIntyre's 150th here at the Adelaide Oval. And a lot of work here. Wickets don't come easily, so that's a very good performance. Picker one just spun away. Not able to get it through.
Who are you backing, Stacky? My money's in my pocket.
They have to back the Redbacks, I think, at this stage. They've got the roll going at the moment, but it's one of those even money situations, Barry. The slightest error by one team could cost you the points.
Yes, Macca. Good, Mac.
30-odd runs, around about 30. Tough to get. Brad Williams got them in the first innings. I think Julian was the problem for the Redbacks.
We tend to think about all the pressure being on the batsman. Of course, there's pressure on the bowlers as well. Even though they're on a roll, you realise you just cannot afford to bowl two bad deliveries. Full toss or a long hop and it gets put away for 4. It can just alleviate the pressure. So there is pressure on the bowlers as well.
Just edged away. Confidently played by Brendan Julian. Should get probably 3 in this. And Williams comes back to the 3rd. That's good running. A very good shot there from Brendan Julian. Just going with the spin. And picks up the 3 runs.
This is a good shot, I reckon. He found out a couple of deliveries before that when it spun away from him that he couldn't hit it hard through the offside. So that one, he just ran off the face of the bat, wider slip. I'm actually surprised more batsmen haven't done that today. When it's spinning away from you, instead of trying to hit it past point, which is difficult to do when it's going away from you so far, is just lean into it and guard it past the slip area. Still get 3.
Flied it up, a full toss. Tried to smash it down the ground. Tried to hit it too hard, in fact. So that's the end of Peter McIntyre's over. Full toss. But in the first innings, he would have swatted away for a boundary. Swung across it. And straight down to Mark Harrity at mid-on. So 8 wickets down. Brad Oldroyd, the last batsman to come in. Wonder where he is, Barry Richards.
Well, they're all nervous. No smiles in either dressing room. Yes, Brad Oldroyd, eccentric character. He's probably on the other side of the ground, Stacky. He'd probably walk in from the other side. It wouldn't surprise me, I must admit.
Oh, I think they'd have him in check by now. I think he'd be behind there. Probably having something to cool the nerves.
Well, there's real time taken yet. They've got to get the fielders in exactly the right place. Some running repairs.
This has been a terrific effort by the Redbacks to just get back into the game. About 3 or 4 times today it looked as though it was beyond them, that it had slipped past them. Just through perseverance and some good bowling from the spinners. And particularly Paul Wilson early on today picked up the 2 wickets, did a lot of the hack work. But since he was replaced, it's been these 2 guys in operation now that have nearly got them back into, well, got them back into the game. But within 2 wickets of getting 6 points.
Brad Young's got a difficult task with these 2 because they'll be hitting, they have to hit on the offside, inside out, and they'll be hitting with the breeze when they do that to the short boundary, so he's got to be pretty precise.
Go! Work, Harry!
There, good save. Excellent save there. Daniel Harris, the youngster. Good game in which to play for him. He played last week when Pakistan beat the Redbacks.
What's good going?
Did a little bit on him, probably 2. An outside edge, Siddons gives chase.
That's the danger area. That's where there are a lot of runs available to Brendan Julian if he wants them. There's a man at slip. There's a man at short cover, Daniel Harris, who we saw pull off that good save. But there's no one in between them. There's only Darren Lehman, and he's very close at bat pad. So if he can get the ball past him, well, guess who's going there? Poor old blocker. He's covered every inch of this Adelaide Oval. I reckon he's done more running in the field than he did when he was bowling. He's gone everywhere.
It's cruel, isn't it? The big fella, big heart. Full toss. It's a hit away on the onside. Probably two in this one too. And Brad Williams comes around, turns quickly, and comes back for the second. He's always going to Mark Harrity's right-hand side, which meant he had to transfer the ball into the left hand, and he was never ever going to cut off that second run. .22 for victory. He goes for the sweep.
Outside the line. Very excited, and not a really good shot to play. The reason he's trying to do that is to try and manipulate the strike. He's got outside the line, Brendan Julian, and it's turned. The danger for him is if it hits the gloves, it's going to loop up to one of the men on the off or the leg side. He's trying to paddle it around the corner to get the strike.
This time he does get it fine, gets the bottom edge on it. And he'll probably get the strike here because they'll run three, and he won't mind that. Jamie Siddons had a lot of chasing to do of late, and they settle for the 3 runs. So 19 to get, 2 wickets in hand, and that wasn't a bad over for the Warriors.
Yes, very good one. A little bit of pressure for Brad Young. He's put away past backward point, moved to field, and then they got him through the vacant mid-wicket area, and then one fine for Brendan Julian. That's the runs needed, 19, 2 wickets in hand. It's still anybody's game. Just sensed the pressure from Brad Young. He realised he had to get it in the right place because they love to hit over cover. Both these players hit inside out, and they'll be hitting with the wind to the short boundary, and he just felt that sort of pressure, try to just drag it into the leg stump to give them no room to swing the arms, and drifted down there, and he was able to get him away for 5 runs on that occasion, Brendan Julian.
Harry, just looking at that Western Australian dressing room, I reckon any player that moves, and you know how superstitious cricketers can be, once you're in that set position, you're not allowed to move. It just seems to be the way that cricketers think. Anyone that changes their seat, sit down, you're not allowed to move whilst things are going well. 19 runs needed for victory, 2 wickets. The Redbacks, it was all smiles not so long ago for them. Starting to get serious again, and Lehman just putting the field back, prepared to concede 1. And he gets this one fine again. Paul Wilson's going to give chase, the poor big blocker. They'll be searching for the 3, and Williams comes back for it. So it's down to 16 runs. So the Warriors closing in. I'm not sure whether Brendan Julian wanted that 3rd run or not. He's quickly going down to Brad Williams. I think he'll probably say to him now, don't do anything stupid here. Just take your time. There's plenty of ones. Let's creep up on it. Play every ball as it comes.
Well, I'm not sure that that's good advice for Brad Williams, because he's not a defending type of player. In fact, he gets himself into all sorts of trouble when he does defend. But he'll be feeling the pressure now. He's got the field up, slip, bat pad on the offside, short cover.
Umpire gives him out. LBW on the front foot. Williams a fair way down. He's a tall guy. And Peter McIntyre picks up his 5th wicket. So 15 runs needed, 9 for 175.
So here's the wicket that's just fallen prior to the break. Williams coming across the line. Big appeal from Peter McIntyre, and Peter Weeks agreeing.
We'll just have a look at it from side on here. He's a bit forward, but it hasn't hit him very high up. And when you look at that from front, it was pitched middle and leg, and probably just straightening back to middle, so not a lot of problem from the front there. So all of a sudden, like we said before, just hang in there. You never know when it's going to change, and that wheel changed about half an hour or so ago.
5 for 21 in his last 10 overs, Peter McIntyre, so he's been the difference. And a fantastic job from him. Need 1 wicket now.
Well, that's a bit fortunate too. Oldroyd pushing hard there with his hands. Could have easily just bunted that straight to the man and silly mid off.
Full toss. And Mark Harrity, nice bit of fielding there from him.
Right, Hogg.
15 runs required for victory. 1 wicket required from the Redbacks, so it's right down to the wire. Who would have thought? Cruising, it seemed, at 2 for 120.
Well, Mac.
3 for 138 at lunch. They were in very good shape.
Nice and tight now.
No, it's amazing, and like we just said, just hang in there. You know, don't believe your luck's going to hang out all day. It can change around, and that's exactly what's happened. The pressure of just getting these runs. West Australia knew yesterday it wasn't too easy to bat out there, and they've talked themselves, well, not so much talked themselves into it, but it's happened to them as well.
Side edge there from Brendan Julian. Last time WA won by a wicket this ground was back in 1961-62. Work that out, there you go. Thick inside edge there from Brendan Julian. There's the sweep shot from Brendan Julian. Can't get it through. So into the over, and old Droid left to face the music. 5 wickets, great performance from Peter McIntyre. 5 for 48 from 14. And Tomo, that's why you've got leg spinners in your side on the final day. They're in there to bowl teams out.
Well, that's why they batted first too, wasn't it? So they get to bowl last on this wicket, and that's what's really saved them. If they get out of this match, I mean, that's the reason why. They've had a few mishaps. They haven't batted quite that well. They've missed a few catches along the way too as well, but just hanging in there on this last day wicket with the wear and tear and the indifferent bounce has really put the pressure. And just West Australia too as well, having to chase any sort of total this last day. No matter what we say, no matter how big or how small it is, it's always awkward.
Still got to get him. Looking back, the wicket of Damien Martin in the first over after lunch. Perhaps a turning point. While he was at the crease, you sensed that WA had a ease about their pursuit of this target. Now, down the wicket comes Oldroyd, and he's running with the shot. Harrity throws to the striker's end. Julian in quite comfortably.
No, he took off quickly. He hit it well. Harrity's fairly deep there, saving obviously the boundary of the drive there, and they're always going to make that quite comfortably. So a bit of an each-way bet where he was fielding there, and they got the single. There's no real drama, and the field's spreading now for Brendan Julian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basically on the boundary. 3 on the offside, 3 on the onside. That pad, there's 1 on the offside, 1 on the onside, and there's that field spread high and wide.
Swoop shot again from Brendan Julian.
This will be 2, I think 2. He's just got it fine.
So it's tightening up. 12 runs required, 1 wicket needed. The field spread. I would imagine if there's any room outside the off stump, Brendan Julian will be looking to dab the ball down backward a point. Fieldsman on the fence.
One leg, mate. One leg.
Big gap
there.
down towards the third man position.
Come on now, Bradley. Take him out.
So they're going to try and get back again here. Not going to do it. Fitzgerald, the fieldsman. So 11 runs required.
Well, he's got 3 balls to either dispatch or get out on, or keep out, whichever way you want to look at it here. Holroyd. The field changing now for him.
The last time we had a tie, Tomo, this ground, South Australia versus Queensland back in 1976-77. Oldroyd again running with the shot, and that's good cricket from him.
76-77, I would have been no doubt playing for Queensland then, but probably not here. Might have been on test duties, I guess, because I can't remember that match. And he just takes off well here, hits it and runs. That's good running from the tail end of there.
So 2 balls remaining, 10 runs to win. Brendan Julian on strike. Paul Wilson just a change in the field. He's coming to mid-wicket. Enormous gap now. Cover fieldsman on the fence. Outside of him, there's no one on the offside beside of the slip fieldsman. Darren Lehman thinking long and hard about his field. On the wicket, no run.
Oh, Jangy.
It's tight. Last ball now. Surely the field have to come in. Brendan Julian desperate for a single to retain the strike. Into the over there from Brad Young. 10 runs required. Oldroyd on strike. McIntyre to bowl.
Well, dearie me, it's each way bet, this, isn't it? I've really got no idea which way it's going to go. What I saw of Oldroyd in the first innings, he's not the world's worst defensive player. I mean, he can hang in there with Julian. It's a matter of whether Julian can get on strike or whether or not he just gets a good ball in that time. Oldroyd, or either of them actually, because either could get knocked over, as we've seen already. It's the way the wickets have collapsed. 9 for 181.
Tension all around the Adelaide Oval. They were gone for all money, the Redbacks. Lost 8 for 100 after being 3 for 138 at lunch with Damien Martin at the crease. They looked like they were doing it easy. Again, he advances. Brad Oldroyd jams it in, so he's not going to die wondering.
Well, he's not going to get caught with those bat pat. Well, maybe he could by trying the big hit, but he's definitely not going to be poking at it by the look of it.
Shorter pitch delivery there from Peter McIntyre.
Come on, have a look at him now, Mac. Oh,
8 not out in the first dig, Oldroyd. Well, can he do it again? If he does it again, I'll tell you what, he'll be a hero for a few days anyway.
He's pulled out the sweep shot, and that's going to the boundary for 4.
Well, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 in the order would have been happy with that shot. He's just absolutely creamed this. Down he goes and whacks it around behind square. No worries about that.
That was always going for 4. 6 runs to win now for the West Australian team. 1 wicket needed, of course, for the home side.
Well, Oldroyd, I think the way he's looking there at the moment, he just hopes Brendan Julian sticks it out at the other end.
From Peter McIntyre.
Play dog. No work, mate.
Long way outside the off stump. No shot off it, of course, but that wasn't going to hit the stumps.
Well, that wouldn't have hit another set. That was just a big hopeful shout there. And 2 balls still to come in this over. 6 runs required to win for WA.
Sweep shot pulled out again, this time only the one. Fieldsman's been pulled around behind square. So he's done a good job, Brad Oldroyd, since coming to the crease. 8 runs from him. Last ball of the over coming. I suppose the Redbacks will be thinking to themselves, we haven't enjoyed a great deal of fortune during the last 2 or 3 days. Maybe we're due some, and let's have it right now.
I thought you might say that, you Redback.
It's only a matter of time before it came out, Tomo.
Ah, this is good stuff, isn't it? Very nail-biting. It's even got me going up here, and you know where I come from, Queensland. Yeah, just sort of, you don't know which way it's going to go. It's a glorious uncertainty there. I mean, look at the looks on these guys' faces. I mean, this is the business end of the deal. You play for 3.5 days or whatever, pretty relaxed. For a half hour's absolute panic.
That's exactly how it is. And the 6 points, how precious are they? Redbacks go from 4 to 10. Right up in the mix. Warriors, they get to 8 if they win it. Brendan Julian's run that away, and that's going to be at least 1. He's coming back for a second. The throw's on the way. It's high, and he's home. Big, deep breaths being taken in there. End of the over. Three runs required to win. So it's the last roll of the dice time for the Redbacks. Warriors, they're hanging in.
Well, you reckon it's this over, wouldn't you? You'd have thought. Well, mind you, it could be a maiden, but I just got the feeling it's either going to be out or all over, one way or the other. Well, just having a long chat here.
I suppose the positive thing is that Oldroyd's on strike, although he's done well. Scored 8, so he hasn't showed too many nerves. Brad Young to bowl. Got to have every fieldsman around the bat, you would have thought. Can't save it now, you got to win it. Brad Young then to Brad Oldroyd. He's attempted the sweep shot, hasn't got it away. And that would have been pretty close if that had got through and hit him on the pads.
Oh yeah, it's not that far away. Trying to hit across the line. It's always a bit awkward on a pitch that's turning and up and down too, to play across the line like that. Luckily that one was fairly full.
A few words from the skipper. Now Oldroyd to face the music again. 3 runs required to win. 1 wicket in hand. Comes running down the wicket, spears that one in, does Brad Young.
Well, he hasn't played too many from the crease, has he, Oldroyd?
What about that for footwork? No run, that one pops up off the pad. Still a bit of a tangle. That's the equation. 3 runs to win with 1 wicket in hand. One of the tightest Pure Milk Cup matches we've ever covered. And gone! Waiting on the third umpire now. Peter Weeks has put his hand up. Oldroyd's charged down the wicket. He doesn't like his chances. The boys are coming to confer, the batsman. Let's have a look at the third umpire here as Oldroyd comes charging down the wicket. Swing and a miss. Graham Manu has taken the gloves off, and that is a big call. I reckon that may be out. There it is. The bails are gone. His foot isn't back. That's out, and the Redbacks have won.
Well, the light hasn't come on. You're unbelievable. The light hasn't come on yet. There's still some deliberation there, but those stumps are broken, and that's short of the crease. That's got to be out, unfortunately.
Let's wait on this one here. This will tell a story. The bails are off there, and his foot isn't back. Got to be behind the line for it to be out. It should be a red light. You would think. There it is, and the Redbacks have won. Jubilation out in the centre of the Adelaide Oval. 3 runs short, and look at the boys. They're pumped, and why wouldn't they be?
Well, there's the other room, the other side of the coin. They're stunned, as well they should be. It was short of the crease, but we just said how well he'd been using his feet, poor Oldroyd, and now he's been left stranded. By the closest of margins, 3 runs, the victory, and just have a look at this. This is how it happened. Those stumps are broken. You can see his foot is short of the line there. It's got to be behind the line, and unfortunately, now just have a look at that. He's big spinner there. Now those bails are gone there now, and you can see it's not over the line. That's even from behind.
Let's have a look at the reaction when the light turned red. There it is. They've won it. Graham Manu, only playing in his first season, and he's pumped. That man there. He can't believe it. As optimistic as he could possibly be, he would have thought his mob were gone at lunchtime. And that is a win by 2 runs. Last time that happened was at the Raffle Ground last year, WA versus Victoria. 2-run margin, and there they are. A delighted dressing room. South Australian team win by 2 runs.
Well, it took Young, didn't it, forever to get the wickets, and he's ended up with 2 for 71. But what about Peter McIntyre? Took him forever to get a bowl, and then he ends up with 5 for 56. So that's an unbelievable win for the Redbacks. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be a few relief boys up there. That's a really good game of cricket there. There's been a few errors along the way. A few blokes didn't quite perform as they should, but in the wash-up, sensational game of cricket. Pura Cup match here. Absolutely good viewing, that one there. A real nail-biter, meant to be left short of the crease by about 1 inch.
Unbelievable. We were critical at times of the Redbacks. They probably didn't make enough runs on the first day. Darren Lehman did a great job making 120, not a lot of support. Jamie Siddons a 40. 309 on what looked like being a good batting wicket. Didn't look as if it was going to be enough. They were dismissed in the last 5 minutes of the day. And then it was the Western Warriors' turn, and they declared at 9 for 314 after needing 60 with just 2 wickets in hand. The 2 first innings points they got there. Williams with 28 and Hogg seeing them across the line. And then there was this Redback second innings, which was a little ordinary. Siddons and Fitzgerald, okay. Harris with a 31, but really 195 never looked like it was going to be enough. But the final day, it all unfolded. Set 191 runs to win, falling 3 runs short, 188. You can see there Damien Martin really the only batsman to fire a shot, and as far as the bowling was concerned, Peter McIntyre the hero.
Well, McIntyre was a hero, but the man at the top 2, Paul Wilson, you can't forget how he bowled. Look at that, 2 for 25 from 15, really was the mainstay of the morning there. Did the hard yards in the early of the top order there. Harity didn't get a bowl today. McIntyre was left in wraps forever, then came on with 15 overs and took 5 for 55. And then Brad Young bowled pretty well all day, bowled fairly well in the first innings too, and he finally picked up 2 wickets, and the big wicket right at the end, that was the one that mattered, 2 for 71.
Fantastic game here. Coming up, sport on C7, Sydney United versus Brisbane, 7:30 p.m. At the wicket, Terry Kennedy, 7:30 p.m. every Tuesday. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. The Sports Panel Show every Wednesday, also at 7:30 p.m. And then the next game we're going to be covering.